I keep getting questions about how to deal with comments on your meta ads. I think you're gonna find a lot of value in this video, so let's jump into it. So let's talk about my overall philosophy about comments on your meta ads. So that's comments on Instagram and on Facebook. So overall, I believe those are super important and actually do have a pretty big impact on the results on your ads. I personally think of it like, if you go to search a restaurant on Google, first thing you're gonna do is look at the reviews to see if the food is any good. So I treat the comment section under an ad basically like the reviews section. It's a place to see what people are saying about this ad, about this business, and overall I feel like it's definitely something that you should be paying attention to. So my rules of thumb basically are you should be responding to all your comments, okay? Whether they're positive or negative. When you respond to positive comments, a pro tip is to ask a question or start a genuine conversation with the person, encourage them to share their experience or ask them something about their experience, and that will get them to start responding again and again, and basically it's going to help boost the engagement on your ad. Ads that get more engagement get pushed farther by the algorithm. That's for sure. Now, what do we do with negative comments? Okay, so if they're just straight up negative comments like about the product or service, but they're valid, or even if they're not valid, I genuinely believe that you should be responding to all the comments in a professional way. And if you want to kind of go back and forth with the person, it's up to you on how aggressive you want to be with this. But generally, like if you believe the person that's commenting negatively is wrong, you can explain in a very professional way why they are wrong. And again, kind of encourage a little bit of a back and forth. Keep it positive overall, right? Don't be trolling your negative commenters, but try to get to the bottom of it really. Because if you think about it, these negative comments are opportunities for you to improve your business, your communication, your customer service, everything. So not only is it a way to spur more engagement, more conversation, it's also a way for you to improve and learn from. So I think it's a really good thing to do. Respond professionally to your negative comments, be polite. If there's this like sass involved, I feel like even if you generally are professional and you kind of feel like sassing the person a little bit, you can kind of do it in a tasteful way. This isn't for everybody, but some people do it and it works for them. Okay. I've even seen some like really big name, like I think Wendy's, will just like randomly sass somebody on Twitter, stuff like that. And it just shows like authenticity. There's really a person behind the keyboard, and it's also kind of fun, right? Sometimes. So now what do we do about completely hateful or racist comments? I think the best thing to do in those cases is to simply delete the comments. And if it's like a repeat offender type person, then I would just go ahead and ban that person. In some cases, you can hide comments, right? There's hiding comments and then there's deleting comments. There's some pros and cons to each. So if you delete the comment, well, the person doesn't get notified or anything, but if they see the ad again, they may see that their comment is not there and then proceed to comment more. So that could be a problem, right? In that case, you may want to ban the person. If you hide the comment, it only hides it from everybody except the original commenter. So that could be a more subtle way to kind of steer the conversation in the direction that you want to go without kind of notifying the person. So that's generally my overall kind of strategies for dealing with comments. So just to review, respond to all comments, respond in a professional way, encourage people into conversation by asking questions so you get more comments. Even respond to the negative comments, try to dig deeper into why they feel that way. You're getting them to respond more and get you more engagement while also giving you extremely valuable information to improve your business. And then you can either delete or hide hateful comments, okay? So that's generally the way that I like to do this. So we know that ads with more engagement tend to get pushed farther by the algorithm, which is a really good thing. So it's in our best interest to make ads that people are going to want to engage with, okay? And I want to share with you two examples that I think are kind of fun that have worked really well for myself and my clients. So let's get into it. So in my case, I was running an ad where we were advertising a cell phone, right? I sent a cell phone to a UGC creator, and when I got the video back, this was not on purpose, the video had her kind of talking about the service, the phone, and she had these super long nails nails that were like bejeweled and stuff. Okay, I didn't know that, you know, at the time when I hired her. I don't know if I would have been okay with that or not at the time, but that's the video that I got back, and I was like, all right, well, let's try it. And that video just blew up. It did so well. The ads performed extremely well, and the funny thing is the comments were all about the nails. Everybody was talking about the nails. Some people loved the nails, some people hated the nails, some people were just confused, but people were buying the service that I was selling. So whatever engagement that ad was getting was somehow boosting its position in the auction or pushing it farther, giving it more reach, giving it a lower CPM, and it just worked. And I was able to run that ad for months, and you know, it worked out really well. So that's one kind of funny example. It was very unexpected for me, but that was like my first aha moment on ways that we can kind of get engagement, right? Subtle ways. So I have another example of a current client. They are in the tools niche, okay? So they sell something related to power tools, okay? So their target audience is going to be tradesmen, construction workers, that type of person, right? And what they're doing in their ads, which is pretty smart, is they have, you know, an attractive woman in the ads, right? And they have her doing, you know, showing off the product, right? Which is great. They have subtly woven in, like, basically they've made her look like she doesn't know what she's doing with the tools, and even doing some things that kind of come off as borderline unsafe. Like there's like a blade tool and she's like reaching over her hand to cut something or just to demonstrate how it works. Her hair is down, which is apparently a big no-no, you know, so there's just some subtle things. And by the way, I know this person in the videos and she definitely knows how to use power tools. That's super clear to me, but they're doing it on purpose, right? And this is, I would say, kind of a semi-controversial thing that they're doing. The comments are just over the top, right? People are just shitting on her about, oh, she doesn't know how to use the tools, and this doesn't even work, and this is a scam, blah, blah, blah. They're responding to other comments. They're proving that, you know, their product works, and, you know, they're defending themselves. But what's most important is that their ads are crushing it, okay? They're spending right now maybe around $700-800 a day, and they're up at around a 5-6x return on ad spend with a 1.6 break even. So they're kind of smashing it, and we're scaling right now using these like viral ads. Okay, they go pretty aggressive with it, you know, and you could call this like rage baiting or, you know, engagement baiting, whatever you want to call it. It's working. And so I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think all businesses should be doing this type of thing, but in their case, it's truly working, and it's not doing any harm. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just kind of doing things that are like sort of controversial. They know their target audience. Okay, we're talking about construction workers. Like, if you're a construction worker, do not take this the wrong way, but you know, you get it, right? So my point is, if you know the psychology of your target audience, right, and you know what you can show in your ads that may trigger them to either have some sort of emotional response or trigger them to comment or like or do something, your ad is going to go much farther. Okay, now you need to be careful with just true engagement baiting, where you say like, comment the word whatever and I'll send you the link, or like this video if you agree. You know, stuff like that is actually explicitly penalized by Meta. They actually say it in some of their documents. I'll link it in the description below. So I would avoid that type of thing. That's called like engagement abuse. So be careful with that, but you can get creative, you know. I know some people, what they do, which this actually kind of drives me crazy, but they'll mispronounce something, or, you know, just something little subtle like that. They will do something subtle where they'll just say a word wrong, or they'll misspell a word, or they'll be wearing like 2 different shoes or stuff like that. Okay, that stuff to me is a little bit gimmicky, but if you can get creative and do it in a subtle way where it's not super obvious and strange, well, maybe strange is good. If you can do it in a way that's not super obvious, I think it can be done in a tasteful way, and you can actually get a lot of engagement that way and boost the results of your ads. So that's everything that I have to say about engagement and comments. Hope this was helpful. You know, it's the reality, guys. You know, Meta, Facebook, Instagram is a crazy place. You'll see crazy comments. You'll see really positive comments that are like testimonials basically for you, and you'll see negative comments that you can use to improve your business. Moral of the story is make sure you guys are using this information that you learned in today's video to your advantage. And if you have any comments or thoughts about this video, comment below. Take care, you guys.